What's up, guys? And it is Bessie here. So today I was just thinking of doing something a little bit different. I've never done something of the sort on my channel. And so first of all, I'd just like to thank everybody for the support on my mini-series of the game called Deep World. But today we're going to be talking about something quite different, very different. And it is Batman the Black Mirror. I've read this about a year ago. I had a little look back at it because I love this book so much that I wanted to make a book review on this for, I think it was a whole entire year. So, absolutely love this book. It is one of my favourite books of all time. I've decided to play as Nightwing in the background because this is, in some regards, a Dick Grayson centered story. So, not exactly Dick Grayson centered, it is more Jim Gordon centered. I'll explain that later in the spoiler part of the review. First part will be non-spoilers, you can watch this. I'm just going to recommend it and explain why I think you should buy it, because I definitely think you should buy this book. And I'm going to go into detail, let you know when spoilers come up, so you can go read the book yourselves, come back, and we can talk about it together. So, I'd just like to say that it is written by Scott Snyder and illustrated by Francesco Francavilla. Now, this is some of the greatest Batman comic book writing I have ever seen. Like, it kept me on board. I was on the edge of my seat throughout the whole thing. Never got bored, because comic books sometimes have these slow past them, or graphic novels. This was just so interesting. It was fascinating, because to its core, this is a crime story. This is a murder story. This is something to let you figure stuff out. So you build up this perfect idea in your head, and pieces are placed in front of you. But then there's so many twists, and everything you ever thought you knew about Batman continuity, this book defies it, because it takes certain events from other authors in other Batman books, that certain events that you may see as iconic, and it takes them and develops them into something so much more. There's a particular event that happens in the comics that I'll mention in my spoiler review, that this book completely changes, and it gives a whole new different meaning to it. And I really appreciate when comic books do that, when they develop an idea that's already interesting, and they do change it. They do change a lot of the continuity, but the thing is that by changing this stuff, they, instead of, when comic books change stuff, it can be for the bad. Some comic books should never change things, but when this one changes stuff, it's so good because you actually buy into it. Then again, this could be an alternate Earth thing, but I don't think it is. So, let me just catch you up on some stuff. So, as you may know in the events of, this is spoilers for Final Crisis and all that, but I think you've read that. So, as you may know, Batman is, presumed dead by everyone. But then when he comes back, from Final Crisis, he goes around the world to spread a persona everywhere, to spread the Batman persona, to get Batmen all over the world, fighting crime. So, in the case of Bruce Wayne dying ever again, which of course he will, everyone dies, there will be more Batman, and Batman will live. So, whilst Bruce Wayne is gone doing that mission, the new Caped Crusader, the new Batman of Gotham, is, of course, Dick Grayson. Now, unless you don't know, Dick Grayson was the first Robin. Then he turned into Nightwing. He had this rebellion phase. But Bruce got Dick to get up the mantle for Batman. And so throughout this whole book, you don't hear too much of Bruce Wayne. He's mentioned, of course, but it's more of a Dick Grayson story, as I mentioned before, because it's Dick Grayson as Batman here, and that is such a good opportunity, because Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson is slightly more relatable than Bruce Wayne, because Dick Grayson has this charisma, and it's so satisfying to see Batman smiling and, having fun at his job. The events of this book are very serious, and they can't be considered tragic, but Dick Grayson always brings this light to everything, you know. He turns, you can see a terrible situation as something that could possibly not look as bad as it actually is. He brings in that sense of humor, that fun, that joyant aspect to this book. And I've had more fun reading Dick Grayson as Batman than reading Bruce Wayne as Batman, because he's such a unique character that this is such a great opportunity for the writer to really deliver something new and fresh and interesting by linking it to those events of Final Crisis. But I just adore how Scott Snyder did all that. And so yes, it definitely, the great thing about this book is it's to its core, to its, you know, the very ink that I put on this page is, it is a murder story. And that is just so great because it leaves you guessing and trying to figure things out. But it introduces certain characters into the lore of comics. And those particular characters are so fascinating, so developed, so incredible, that the book pretty much, if I can remember correctly, I've read this like a year ago, it's told, the story itself, the murder, is developed through flashbacks. So there's certain flashbacks in this story, and as distant as they are, they still feel so linked to the reality of this book. But those certain those flashbacks are such fascinating, interesting moments in this book. Absolutely adore the flashbacks. I adore how this book looks, how it feels. There's an atmosphere to it. There's that Gotham City atmosphere to it. The art in this book is absolutely brilliant. It is very detailed, but it's also got this mood to it. You can just, it keeps you there. There's a certain spirit to it, and it just keeps you there, and it's so good. I have to give props to this guy for the art, because this is definitely some of the best art I've seen in comic books. And it's so great because it kind of replicates art from other comics and graphic novels that I've read. And in a way, in an artistic way, it links things together that you would never think would have any correlation to each other. And it's all a very visual story. There's, for example, there's certain pages where there's words, just words, you know, drawn artistically, floating around the room to just deliver a message, a constant message that something is wrong, something is off. And the art in this is just brilliant, absolutely amazing. And there's so much to it too. There's so many villains involved in things, but to its core, the villain himself, the ultimate bad guy, is actually such a great, different, unique villain, because it takes a revolutionary spin on everything. So if you're a Batman fan, if you're a comic book fan, or you're just looking to read something genuinely good, at first it might be confusing because it picks off after some events in comics. But it's kind of self-explanatory. It is such a great, not only Batman story, but a Dick Grayson story too. Love it. One of my favourites. Had me entertained the whole time. Definitely would recommend you pick this up. So go ahead, buy this book. It is one of my favourites. Tell them Bessie sent you. See you later.